Welcome to IML Presents Women in Entrepreneurship. I am your host, Ayanna McMullen, the founder of Harmony Organizing and the Network Incubator, the premier creative think tank for business ideas.
And I'm your co-host, Adranae Mena, founder and owner of S.OA.R Fearlessly Coaching.
Women in Entrepreneurship Limited Series is brought to you by Boss Ladies Who Tea. So today we're really excited to have our guest with us, Amy Garelick, who is the owner of Power Up Video. So we want to learn more about you and your business. So just give us a little spiel about what it is that you do and why you went into this field.
So Power Up Video, first of all, thank you for having me. You guys look amazing.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful day, beautiful ladies to talk to. Yes, I am the CEO of Power Up Video. We are a video strategy and video marketing production agency. We're creating content for your marketing and sales. So no weddings, no bar mitzvahs. We stay focused on your business. And why Power Up? Power Up is an extension of a couple of different things that have brought me joy since I left the Walt Disney Company. A lot that had to do with special events that sort of turned into documenting those events, that turned into going full time with video content. So it's a great opportunity for me to be able to use all of the experience I have from marketing into producing video content.
I love your message that you say solutions for your brand, business, and bottom line, because I think a lot of us, as we're social media plugged in right now, is like, get the content out, get the video out, get the pictures out. But are we really thinking about how this would affect us financially in our bottom line? Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. So I think that where my head has always been is that with social media and video and social media, it's so temporary. It's, a story was 24 hours or a piece of content either became viral and was amazing or it just faded into the landscape. So I like creating content that works for you. I like if you're going to feel confident on camera and put yourself out there, I want it to support your brand. I want it to move that bottom line or be impact to your bottom line and really be focused on your business. And that's the content that we focus on creating for people versus more of the vanity or about me's or the temporary stuff, which is awesome. It's just not, I don't know. I think I get sad. I'm like, oh, well, now that's over.
Right.
A lot of work goes into some of these pieces. So yeah.
I think a lot of times we post content without a purpose,
Yeah.
and I'm loving now that I'm learning and I'm love what your business does, that this has a purpose. We're here to attract our target audience. We're here to increase our bottom line.
Absolutely.
So, Adranae.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I had taken a few courses that you had put together when you first launched your business. So I was privy to start that process and join their sort of like a training or like a coaching. And they definitely taught a lot of stuff. And one of the things I was thinking about was, so you really personalize the brand and then you personalize everything, right? So when you do that, tell me like when you sit with the person or your client, what are some of the things that you think about or you ask the client?
Well, it's you're getting to know the human behind the brand and the brand. Again, it's sort of both at once because
human and the brand.
the human and the brand, and taking it and putting it all together.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to have their voice heard.
Yeah.
And if they are a representation of their brand, it is both elements together. So yes, you need to think about their tone, the way they carry themselves, what they're looking to do. And then they also, their audience, if they're positioning themselves in a certain way to fit the audience. The biggest thing that we try to do now, which is, I wish I had this information when we did our classes before, is to really think about what your customer is asking. What are the problems? How can you be a solution? And so therefore, if you're focused on that, every piece of your scripting, your storyboarding, your content is going to align to be that solution and give you that purpose.
I love it. And that leads into my next question, that you're telling these people's stories, right?
Mhm.
How important that is to not just say, oh, we're just going to take this content and talk about your brand, but every business starts with a story. I started this because my big why is because, and I love that that's what you want to do, is to tell these people's stories. And I'm sure you find that very important, right? If you want to elaborate on that too,
I
sure.
say when there's a story,
Mhm.
you're willing to engage, you're willing to listen. When you're told something, if a professor teaches you and tells you something, it's a little bit different in the way that you receive and engage. So I do lend into the storytelling aspect of things because I feel it's just a more effective way to connect.
How, I think a lot of times as women, they say, I don't know, you guys ever heard this saying, be transparent, but you're like, to what level? Like, do I gotta dish it all out?
So good.
Like, do I have to
Especially
dish?
with the story.
Yes. Do I have to dish all of this out? Like, to what level? Like, so I guess I'm asking you, because this is your baby, your expertise. How transparent should someone be about that story? And maybe it depends on that person.
Yeah, it's one of those
But
it
it's
depends
like,
moments. But I think
yeah.
that if you think about attracting the right people,
Right.
you need to be real to the people that you're speaking to.
Okay.
I think transparency has a very fluid definition. There's authenticity and then there's transparency. So again, it depends on what your purpose is. If you are here to say this is a day in the life of an entrepreneur, there are tears of joy and tears of sadness and good things and bad things, and you're speaking directly to other entrepreneurs, yes, that transparency feels right. If you have a presence and you're going to pitch only to corporate, that might not be what you want to put out there.
You might want to
tap back on that.
They don't want that.
They don't want the
So
full
yes,
story.
I think you need to know your audience.
Right.
You need to know your audience
That's
and
good.
purpose behind it. I think sometimes it's so self-serving to give that journalistic approach to my day, my day, my day. What I feel, because I think I come from a generation where we're still figuring all this out in the sense of what makes sense and what's not going to embarrass my children.
Especially that.
Exactly. You really just have to think about the idea of, is this interesting or entertaining, or does it solve a problem?
Interesting,
If you're staring at something and your gut says, do I post or do I not post? Do I create or not create? Is it entertaining? Is it educational? Or is there a true purpose behind this? Is it solving a problem? Because that's really all people want.
Really? Because I don't go to the grocery store just to be buying bread. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
That's
Solving
so
my
good.
Solving the
So
problem.
good. Now, on the flip side of that, we have, the TikTok and Kardashians of the world and things of that nature, where they're not solving any problems. They're just giving us a release and something to enjoy. So that's that entertainment part where I could get lost in TikTok and learn 4 new ways to put my lashes on,
3 hours later.
a new way to feed my dog. And yes, two days later, I remember I am a human. I need to go back to work. So it's good to release with that also, but it depends on if that's truly your purpose and brand to be in that space.
Right. Your purpose and brand.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking because this, we're talking about entrepreneurship and it's, Women's Month. And so, being an entrepreneur is definitely not easy. People think that it's a cake. They're like, oh my God, you're an entrepreneur.
You can get crazy.
And you can do whatever you want.
Whatever you want. You're like,
Not. But so my question to you is, because I know you transitioned from corporate into entrepreneurship, and I remember being there, which I feel like that's so cool. I remember being there. So tell me, what was like one of the most exciting things and then one of the most challenging things to transition from Disney onto Power Up?
I think that the problem that I had with this, and I don't know if that's the problem, but I treated my job at Disney as if it were my own. So I had an entrepreneurial mindset, which is really disturbing when they come in one day and are going, we're going to close this office in 3 months. And I'm like, wait, I did everything right. It was mine. I did it.
Right,
No.
my baby.
So so I have a great deal of ownership in anything that I do. And I think it's just a mindset that helps me with my detail orientation and what I do. So I certainly had the rules and regulations, the yeses and the nos within that corporate, but it also trained me as to what I wish to have in that same space. The ethics, the detail orientation, the way that I want to treat the people that are my clients and my employees. So it gave me a landscape of what I liked and sometimes what I didn't like, so I could move forward with that. I left Disney and lost my identity. Nobody knew how to say my last name. I was Amy from Disney. So I sort of sat around and I'm like, well, what in the world would I do that brought me as much joy as what I was doing and the purpose I felt? And that's where this all came to be, because I have to create that. It's hard to find that when you are working for someone else. And it's really just an opportunity to do all the things that you knew were better for that client, right for that client, risky for that client, and be a part of the whole process.
Love that. I love it. I love it. As we talk about transitioning to your own business, which of course can be a challenge when you take ownership, because you're literally giving your ideas to this organization that takes ownership of your ideas, right? What have there been any challenges that you find specifically as a women entrepreneur in this field?
Yeah, I think that we all have sat at tables and been called darling, and like that type of thing.
Yeah.
I got darlined last week. And it's funny because I think that's what always irks me, because I think respect is very, very important. And I think that creating environments where people feel that they have access is very important. So anytime you come in and you can feel smaller than you need to be, that feels like a challenge to me. That being said, the gift of my 40s is to just say what I need to say and do what I want to do. So I think as I continue down that path,
transparency and authenticity.
Exactly. Well, but if I know who I am and I know what I am doing, and I feel like that imposter moment has passed, because I think we all go through all of that. Absolutely. Where it's like, no, I don't know. Well, that's fine. I know what I know, and I'll say what I don't. And it's just a matter of figuring out when to speak up, how to speak up, and then finding the tables and the places to speak up.
I love what you just said. I know what I don't know, and I'm okay with saying I know what I know, and I'm okay with saying what I don't know. I don't know if it's y'all's personal experience, but that for our male counterparts, that is not necessarily the case. They want to know everything, and I think that's part of the challenge of being in this space as a women entrepreneur. I think we're a little bit more humanistic in the fact that we're all humans here. But we can collaborate in this way.
Absolutely.
And I haven't found that. That's me personally. 100% of the time in male dominated spaces. So I love what you said about that.
Yeah, no, I'm the first to throw that type of thing out. I feel that it's important to use your voice, whatever that means. And if you're in a space where it's something where you need to have an opportunity to step up, find or demand the respect in the conversation, or to say simply, I'm an adult and I don't know something, and it's okay.
Yes.
That's great. Right
yes. It's okay with that.
Thinking about that, when you're talking about that, do you find that when you're in those spaces that you're able to speak up strongly and feel confident about it? Because it can get hard sometimes.
I have moments where making other people feel slightly uncomfortable is entertaining.
Okay,
that's the best way to look at that.
No, that's I love that.
But I think that if you see, it's sort of that out of body moment where you're like, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to this. You're a human being too,
right?
You're a human.
Yeah. Let's not take ourselves too seriously.
That's so good. Yeah.
Break it down and figure out what we can do. So I think that the challenge is that the idea of women having personality and presentation versus being very, corporate like in the way you would even present an idea.
Right.
Being amongst an audience that might be, considerably older or more experienced, that's fine. We're all here. We're all human.
Yeah.
We're all figuring it out. And that's also why I'm like, I know that I will continue to be a business owner and an entrepreneur, because that's not normally something people feel comfortable doing when a supervisory moment is there. It's like, oh, I'm not going to recognize this thing and speak up because my boss would prefer me just to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Do you ever find, because this is just bringing all these thoughts of past experiences to me. Right. Have you ever felt the need to present yourself in a certain way because you thought that would get you more attention? Like to look a certain way?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll give you this example, and I would love to hear your answer. I was with a mentor one time, and he just wasn't understanding where I was coming from. I was like, I want to do it this way. And he just debased it to, oh, well, you have a pretty face. You'll do well. That's exactly what he told me. And I was like, I can't work with you anymore. So do you ever find the need to present yourself, to look a certain way, to have the clothes, the body type, in order for you to get the business that you want?
Absolutely. So I have always been, a non-traditional 5'3" on a good day, womanly sized individual. That's my issues and my comfort level that I am working myself into. And I also am trying to be more healthy. So the more healthy I get, the more confident that can be. All that aside, yes, it is difficult when you do feel that you don't want to appear less professional or immature, but I am in an industry where, guess what? If I were to wear these shoes doing what I do, I would be making so much noise as I run from camera to camera. So I will wear what I need to wear. I will be what I need to be. And I think that it's above all, it's what we say and what we do. And hopefully that breaks through and that respect is given. I have spent my life in Converse tennis shoes, graphic tees, and blazers because that is my jam.
Love it.
And if that's not something that is accepted or otherwise, it's, I work with VCU fashion. Sometimes fashion is exactly what you need to worry about. Sometimes it's the ideas, collaboration, and promises, and then delivery.
So true.
I think we've all had those experiences sometimes. Like, should I dress this way? Should I look this way?
Always, right?
It's
we're always doing that.
Because women are always told you need to look this way.
Certain kind
and
of
then
way.
if you do it, well, not for that though, but you need to look this way.
Right.
I was also told one time I wear too much jewelry for the type of profession that I'm in. Like, you need to take that.
Yeah,
Well,
and
we're not talking.
She
We
said-
don't.
That's right.
You have
Yes,
to-
we'll take them out. It's all good.
This
I
is
love
all for men.
I love arm candy though.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you're
Well,
wearing
and
that
I
arm candy.
I'm raising 2 boys. I have to be careful. I do believe we are in a world where we can show people that something has been said and this is how mom reacted or
Yes.
things like that.
Yes.
Because I think that the generations that are coming up are just not thinking that way. It's sort of I'm going to say an immature insecurity on the other side
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
sort
Such
of
a
coming
good
through.
point.
That's really what it is. It's
Um,
not our problem.
Yeah, it's not. It
That's
isn't.
what I say. That's a you problem.
That's
That is a them problem, not a me problem.
Right.
But I do think that we have opportunities to just show up, whatever that means. If we think that something is going to allow us to be seen,
Mhm.
that's fine. Guess what? You are wearing that badge.
And if you,
Go with it.
and if you
that-
feel
yeah.
amazing in it, like why wouldn't you?
When
Absolutely.
you start owning, like,
Exactly.
this
Like
is who I
you
am,
are.
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, and I will
boom.
say the one thing that gets me every time is prior to filming with someone, sometimes I will find myself saying, well, let's take a deep breath, smile. And I was like, oh my God, I just told a woman to smile. That's not good. I was like, I never want to tell it like you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just breathe
I
for
know
me.
exactly what you mean.
Because yes,
Yeah.
it's again, we are just navigating our way to using amazing communication to respect people.
Right.
And I think we're all just figuring it out.
I have a question. So we're talking about like different things about like our appearance and our business. I want to dig just a little bit deeper because as entrepreneurs, and we talked about it in the beginning, we were saying that everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is an entrepreneur. It takes a lot of dedication, right? But everyone loves the sound of the word entrepreneurship because they think we could do whatever the heck we want when we want, right? So tell me what your daily method of operation looks like for you. I mean, because for every business is very different, right?
Well,
What does it look like for
I'm
Amy?
certain my teammates are watching this and laughing as to whatever I'm going to say next. We are sort of a reactive industry.
Okay.
We do have a little bit of structure on the side of people other than myself because I think I actually feed off of the every day is Christmas. I don't know what I'm going to get. Let's open up the package. Who am I talking to today? I'm fueled by that type of world.
Okay.
Balance is a myth. And I just want to get whatever brings me joy, pushes me further, allows us to feel successful and fulfilled. And then I respect the energy of those that need more structure and want a process such as, within our editing processes or client onboarding and things of that nature. My boys are both in high school and my son drives my other one so it's like I don't have that routine that I used to have.
Right.
So I am finding my way through what does morning look like? What can I do best? I love the flexibility, but I also feel there's not a moment in the day that I'm sitting as still as I'm sitting right now.
Yeah.
So I just get it done. We just keep moving forward because it fuels me. And that's really when it doesn't fuel me, that's when I have to take a step back and say, what's going on? How can we make a change? But this is being done the same way I did it when I was with Disney. Now it's just for me. Yeah.
The flexibility component
Mhm.
for entrepreneurship is a must. And I like how you said, I'm feeling my way through. Because sometimes that's what it's like, well, I just got to feel my way
Well,
through this one.
I
We'll
had
see.
a big thing with bringing on team members where they would not miss anything with their children at school. I missed a ton. I missed a ton of stuff. I worked
Right.
24/7. We covered DC, Maryland, all of Virginia, and we were just rolling. So for my teammates, I'm like, you will, if you choose to be there, if you're being told you have to volunteer and you don't want something, you want an out, I got you. But no, I want them to be a part of their families in the same entrepreneurial way that I believe I'm making space for my family. And that's a non-negotiable with my company.
True. I had another thought. Really.
Sure.
So we were talking about what do you do on the business side now? As an entrepreneur, you also need to take care of you. So tell me what Amy does for Amy for some self-care, because people think self-care is like nails, hair, but it's so much deeper than that. God, it's so much deeper than that, Ayanna. What does Amy do for
The first
Amy?
rule of power up is you never cancel a hair appointment.
I love it.
So
I'm not
That's
going
right.
anywhere without my hair being done.
that's right.
know?
Every 3 weeks. Hi, Tracy. So no, but looking good is part of that for me. I know that everything's going to present the way that I wish it to be. I escape to Disney World because that's where I know how to go. We escape as a family because if I stay too close to home and pretend there's balance, it doesn't exist. So I do enjoy the run, go, take the trip. That's not really a vacation. Be somewhere else, unplug. I think the reason that my family enjoys going there is it's its own little bubble. Nothing feels real there anyway. I love music. I love music.
So
Agree
good.
with
Me
you.
too.
Yes.
I would listen, and I love everything. There is not a single thing out there that I would not listen to. So I think that a lot of times it's something, whether it's an audible book in my ear or music, that allows me to really just cut out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And getting back to the I guess the minutia of business, we want to learn a little bit from you today.
Okay.
So for those who are watching, and for myself, this is I was like, I want to.
We're learning.
Right, we're learning
all the time.
What would you suggest for someone to be camera ready, right, before they? Because that's nerve-wracking for a lot of people. Like, what am I doing? Even when I'm doing my little reels, I gotta say, forget
so
that.
true.
I'm so nervous. Like, what do I do?
I'm so ready for that tip. I'm about to put that in my phone.
Well, both of you are probably naturally doing what needs to be. So I just need to see that based on everything I've seen.
That way. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, and
Power up video.
there you go. There you go. It is about lighting. It is about being heard, so audio. And for me, it's about sight lines. No one needs that like Little Mermaid Ursula, turn the phone on all of a sudden the phone's facing you and all of a sudden you see all of this and you're like, no. So being able to really think about where your camera can be to feel like you are presenting, because then all of that needs to fade away. If you think about where you are in the light and you think about the audio and that you can be heard and maybe you're going to look a certain way if you hold your camera, let that fade away because it's about the content. It doesn't really matter what you look like. It's about you taking content and pushing it forward. That's all anybody wants. They want to know what they want to know. So thinking about purpose and going back into it, if you start any video and think it's not about me and I am here to serve those.
Me too. It's not about
now
me.
Trust me, that lip color is amazing. And I think it will go well on camera in every way, shape, and form. I don't think these are bad thoughts by any means, but I think that you do get out of your head when you are of purpose and you can shift the energy.
That's so true, because I've been seeing some fuzzy videos, but the content is great.
And you keep watching.
I will keep going back to that video.
Right.
Like, I love this. I'm learning from this, or this is so entertaining, but it's not the best quality.
We, of course, love full production. Well, I bring lights, and of course, we have all the toys. Our job this year and moving forward is to coach others to create as much video as they possibly can. We all have the power to do so, and we want you to feel confident. Not everything needs to be a major production,
Right.
but you do, you have people in the industry that will be able to cut through the clutter of it all and make sure you get to keep moving in that space. Oh yeah,
because that is me. Oh well, if I'm gonna, and then I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Oh,
because I'm just going.
That's so true.
I'm like overthinking. I'm not gonna do it. I'm stressed out now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's been like 30 minutes.
The shoemaker's children have no shoes. Like there are times where you will not see our content because we have given all energy to a client for the week, and then I'm like, the decision of reels and yes, it's overwhelming. That's why we are very excited to bring people in and to say these are the things we should all be worried about or thinking about or acting on. Right. And I'm certain that will also be, allowing us to really focus our energy also.
Would you say like, I love everything that you just said about it's not about, kind of just do it, right? Don't be a perfectionist about it. Because sometimes we have these inspiration moments like, I should say this, but I'm going to overthink this and it's not going to be perfect. This background sucks.
That's me.
But I'm feeling moved to do it and I should just do it. And not on camera, I don't practice this, but in life, I try to practice moving to my intuition. Right. And that's the same thing that I feel should be translated. Like, let me just do it. Let me just put it out there because I'm feeling like the people need to hear this.
Well,
yeah.
And, not everything has to be live.
Yeah.
So capture content. It could be something that you focus on later and it's only for you.
It's all for you.
I mean, I just think we have the power. You have a supercomputer and a camera in your hands at all times. We don't let it go. So if that's something that is going to allow you to process, allow you to even maybe think how to create a piece of content moving forward for something, capture it.
If you could leave us with one amazing tip, like just women entrepreneurship, like what would it be, Amy? What would that be?
That's heavy.
I mean, an Amy answer though.
I did.
Just one.
Did you
not do 5?
I just think so. I had a mentor at VCU. I graduated from the fashion department and focusing on special event production. And I was always like, everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be detailed. It had, it's definitely the opposite of how I'm trying to preach today. And the reason because of that is that I remember her at some point pulling me aside and say, you never take risks. Everything is calculated and you're not going to grow without risk.
So good.
And I'm like,
good.
Okay. So I think that the idea of everything that you do is, again, there can be calculated risks, but you do need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to be a little risky. And if you're in the world of that's the definition of entrepreneurship.
It sure is.
So be okay with
zones is you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're not comfortable doing what it is that you're doing, you're not like the video. I have to become, that's something learning. I have to get to that level where, I become kind of comfortable with that now. Yep. Because you're not going to do it if it makes you uncomfortable.
Well, and it relates to everything we talked about. Right. Sitting at the table, dealing with the ideas of respect, all of that. Right. If you want something to change, you need to figure out how to make that change. And sometimes it's a risk. So maybe take risks.
Would you like other women or aspiring entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs to know before they get into this game? Because as Adranae said, they think it's all beautiful and sparkly and you have so much time and look at you making an impact. And you're like, girl, I'm stressed. I'm not getting to sleep. I forgot to exercise today.
Right. Did I even eat?
Did I drink water? What would you like them to know that's maybe inspirational, whatever you want to add
I think you need to find someone that you connect with that has walked that path. And hear all of the things they're not going to put on social media.
Be totally candid about it.
And ask for that candid conversation.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's a peer, if it's someone that's more of an educated mentor, whatever it may be. You find your sisterhood within and have the conversations that don't make sense to have with anyone else.
Well, I'm just inspired by this conversation.
Absolutely.
You've helped
very
me.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adranae.
Oh, Ayanna, I loved it. We have a good synergy here. I don't know what's happening, but we're doing something.
We're doing something, right? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Amy.
We want to thank everyone who's listening to this Women in Entrepreneurship series brought to you by Imagine Media Lab.